How's it going, everyone? This is Jack here, back with the Commanders Wire, and welcome back to another video. Originally, I wanted to make this video about potential cut candidates that I think that the Commanders could let go this offseason as a result of the hiring of Darontae Jones to be this team's next defensive coordinator. However, when I looked more into it, I found a lot of players that, rather than be cut, could actually find major roles in this Darontae Jones style defensive scheme that is coming to Washington for the 2026 season. On top of that, there's been a lot of buzz on potential, not just new helmets, but brand new jerseys on X that could come to the Washington Commanders for the 2026 season, and we'll get a brand new rebrand, maybe even some new alternate jerseys and a ton of other things. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, please go down below, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to know when I post next. I really do appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys want more content just like this regarding the Washington Commanders. And without a further ado, let's get right into the first topic. So the Washington Commanders have been rumored to potentially bring back their old Super Bowl era jerseys and make them their new main home and away jerseys. Obviously, we already had the white kind of Super Bowl era jerseys that we brought up this season, but like I said in a previous video, the Commanders could potentially be bringing back a matching burgundy jersey, as well as maybe even some gold pants to add to the entire uniform and make those jerseys their new main home and away jerseys. So I would be all in for this. I love the Super Bowl era jerseys. I think they look great. I think they really pay homage to the past jerseys that the Washington Redskins used to wear. I was a really big fan of those and the whole uniforms. I love the stripes that go down the middle, the gold and then the flanking white stripes. I'm a really big fan of those. The burgundy helmet with the gold face mask. I'm a huge fan of it all. And then obviously we also have those black alternate jerseys. I think that the black alternate jerseys look really sick. One thing I did not like about them, however, is the helmets. I think that the small W on the front and the numbers on the sides really was just kind of basic, and I think they could do a lot better. Another thing that I've heard was rumored around the Commanders community is potentially bringing back the spear logo. Obviously, we've had media day pictures with the spear. They've brought out the spear during the season for different games, and so they're bringing back the spear in all aspects of the Washington Commanders. So I could really see them, maybe having an alternate spear logo. And one idea I had, I'm going to put it up on screen now to show you guys, visually, is maybe even replacing the helmet of the black alternates with having that maybe like a red and gold spear on that black helmet. I think that would look really cool. I think it'd be a massive upgrade over the black helmet that we have right now, and I want you guys to let me know down in the comments what you think of these. Do you guys like them? Do you guys not like them? I think they look great. I think they would really pop, especially those primetime games, right? The last two seasons we've played the Bears in primetime, one on Monday Night Football. I don't remember when the Hail Mary was. It could have been Sunday Night Football. I really do not remember. But I think those would look sick and would really bring back the spear logo, but also keeping that black alternate to use in the future. So let me know down in the comments, first of all, would you guys like that spear logo on the black alternates? And number two, would you guys want to see the Washington Commanders bring back the Super Bowl era jerseys to be both the home and away main jerseys for the 2026 season and beyond? Let me know down below. And for our next topic, originally, like I said before, I was going to make this video on cut candidates that I think the Washington Commanders could make before the 2026 season. However, when looking more into these players, and especially the new hiring of Darontae Jones, I think some of these players could actually potentially carve out brand new roles in this new Commanders defense. So I have 5 candidates today that I'm going to break down and show you why I think that, for one, they shouldn't be cut, and number two, they could be everyday starters for the Washington Commanders and potentially bring this team, be top 5, top 10 defense in the NFL. So to start out, we have number 1, Daron Payne. There have been a lot of rumors around Daron Payne, and ultimately I think the Commanders community believes that it's not very likely that Daron Payne is going to ask for an extension this offseason. So we think that he's going to play out the rest of his contract for the 2026 season rather than asking for an extension now. Obviously, this is not a guarantee, but it is looking like this may take some of the stress off of the front office's shoulders, since they can kick the can down the road and they don't have to fill this spot this offseason in free agency or the draft. Obviously, Daron Payne plays a big role in the defense. He's not creating sacks every play. However, he does really stuff the middle of the line of scrimmage, taking on double teams and stuffing gaps when he needs to on run plays. So even though he's not the flashiest player on the field. He plays a big role, and filling that role, if Daron Payne ends up leaving or gets traded, will not be the easiest thing. So I'm glad that he most likely will stay in Washington, and we won't have to look to extend him just yet, and we can focus on other aspects of the defense and as well as the offense this offseason. So I think that'd be great. I think that this means Payne needs to play his absolute best in order to land another big contract, whether it's with the Commanders or not. I think that we should expect Payne to be stuffing the stat sheet this upcoming season with money on the line. So since it is a contract year for him, I believe that he will be playing his absolute best every game, because obviously he wants to play his absolute best. He wants to get as big of a contract as possible. You know, it's pretty obvious. So I think that it'd be the Washington Commanders' best case scenario to let Payne play out the rest of his contract, and because it's a contract year, he's going to play as best as possible, and I think that would be the most productive for the Washington Commanders. And our next candidate that I think will break out this season is it's a split between two players. However, they would be playing the same exact role, and that'd be the big nickel / slot corner role. I have two players, one being Quan Martin and the other being Jeremy Reeves. I think that they're both very physical players who have a high upside in blitzing from the slot, as well as being a potential hybrid linebacker to stack the box on run-heavy downs. I think that both players could carve out a role in this position, and if not, I do not see how either of these players is named a starter on this type of defense with Darontae Jones' scheme. Darontae Jones has been very high on having multiple DBs. First of all, in the box, stacking the box with them, maybe with a strong safety or with a big nickel, have 3-4 DBs on the field at one time. So I think that Quan Martin especially could definitely carve out a role in this type of defense, being this team's big nickel or even slot corner. First of all, because he was a slot corner / big nickel coming out of college playing for Illinois, and second of all, that really fits his play style, being up on the line of scrimmage, potentially blitzing from the line of scrimmage from the slot position. I think that he will play that role very well. And Jeremy Reeves, I think that he would be a little undersized for this role. However, he just has a hot head when he plays. He's always able to make tackles when he needs to, and he really does not let his size dictate whether he can or cannot play. So I think both these players, whether it's Quan Martin or Jeremy Reeves, could play this position very well for the 2026 season under Jarontae Jones. Now, the next player I have is Tyler Owens. Obviously, he's a UDFA in the 2024 class that we brought in, and he is a physical specimen, and that's really all I need to say about him. I think that he could be named this team's new strong safety with his 6'2", 213-pound frame. He has the tools to be a bona fide starter with the Washington Commanders, and with the proper development that Darontae Jones has shown to bring with the secondary, I expect Tyler Owens to be a starter by the end of the season for the Washington Commanders. And I think that he could bring a physical play style to the top of the defense, and I think he'd be great. Obviously, being so big, so lengthy, so tall, he'd be a great strong safety. He brings a lot of power, a lot of speed. He'll be able to cover ground quick, and I think he'd just be a great addition to the starting Commander secondary, obviously under the right development, and I think that Darontae Jones could bring that. So Tyler Owens is that next breakout candidate that I have for the Washington Commanders. Now, the last two players I have are going to be linebackers. One of them a little underwhelming, and the other one being on the come up, I could say. With that being said, our first breakout candidate from the linebacker position is Jordan McGee. We all know Jordan McGee was most likely going to be one of this team's starting linebackers, but with the hiring of Darontae Jones, who looks for versatile playmakers who have the raw skill sets to play all over the field, I believe Jordan McGee can take us to the next level this season and become this team's next generational linebacker with the amount of athleticism, talent, and even speed that he brings to the table. So we all saw flashes of Jordan McGee, but he obviously did not get on the field this past season as we liked. With his physical skill set, I think Darontae Jones is going to squeeze every ounce of what Jordan McGee has. He's going to be playing over 90% of the snaps easily, all over the field, whether it's in the box, he's going to be blitzing, he's going to be covering, maybe even covering players in the slot, like a potential tight end that's playing in the slot. I think he could do everything. He brings a physical skill set, but he also brings speed and agility, and he's able to fly all over the field. So I think Jordan McGee can definitely carve out a role for himself in the Darontae Jones scheme. Now, this last player, like I said earlier, a little underwhelming this season. However, he was coming off of one of his best seasons personally. Is going to be Frankie Louvu. So he was originally going to be one of my cut candidates just based off of his performance this past season. However, I think Frankie Louvu could find himself back in the starting lineup once again under Darontae Jones and the Washington Commanders. Frankie Louvu obviously has been underwhelming this season, and has taken a serious step down from the 2024 season as a top tier tackler, blitzer, and even pass rusher. But I believe that with the guidance of Darontae Jones and this new scheme, Frankie Louvu can tap back into his aggressive play style, rushing the passer, as well as taking advantage of Jones's high blitz rate scheme on early downs. I think Louvu, paired with Jordan McGee and potentially another linebacker acquired this offseason, could set the defense on fire during the 2026 season. So, just like Jordan McGee, I think Frankie Louvu could be used all over the field. On later downs, he'll be able to rush the passer from the edge position, and then on early downs, he'll be able to blitz, stuff up the middle. And paired with Jordan McGee, I think they'll be able to be a very versatile duo, as well as maybe, like I said, adding another linebacker, free agency, the draft. I think the three of them could easily just take control of the middle of the field. So I think that Frankie Louvu, after taking one step back this past season, could take 2 steps forward this upcoming season with Darontae Jones at the helm on the defensive side of the ball. So go down below, let me know about this list. Do you guys think these 5 players could break out this season? Do you guys have other players you think are going to break out? Just let me know down below, as well as let me know what you guys think of the potential new Commanders uniforms coming in the 2026 season. That's going to be it for today's video. I appreciate all you guys for sticking to the very end of this video. If you haven't already, go down below, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so when I post next. It really helps me out and lets me know that you guys want more content just like this. God bless and hail to the Commanders.